There is a movement in the world, a movement of which most of the world is still unaware. There are people who are acting on the realization that it's time to create whole new models for living together, social models for creating and sustaining a high quality of life. Thousands of eco-villages and intentional ecological communities have been created worldwide, and their organizational structures are as diverse as the people who founded them. Join us now in a journey to 10 different eco-village communities in 8 European countries. Schloss Tondorf is located in eastern Germany. With 15 hectares, an old castle, a collection of buildings, a forest, grasslands, gardens, and orchards amid the beautiful cultivated landscape of Thüringen. The community has more than 50 residents, 20 of whom are children. Schloss Tondorf is a community rich with children.
Wenn Menschen fragen, warum wir hier zusammengekommen sind, würde wahrscheinlich jeder eine andere Antwort geben.
If someone asks why we came together here, everyone in the community would probably give a different answer. My answer is that I want to live a purposeful life, and that means something different to every person. To me, it includes things like growing our own food, building houses in a healthy way, giving birth to children in a beautiful way, seeing them grow up here, thinking about the ways that they learn, how we ourselves learn, how we quarrel, make decisions, do business together. An adult who wants to join the community gives 10,000 euros to the cooperative. This money is returned if the person wants to leave, so you are not forced to leave your money when you leave the project. The people who stay here try to return this money as soon as possible. It's even easier than it is for a married couple to buy a house if they contract with a bank for a big loan and later might have a conflict and need to sell the house. You don't have these problems here. So everyone who lives here is a co-owner of the place and co-decides with the others. We use consensus here. At the same time, everyone is a tenant who contributes to our own legal form, the cooperative, with money, with service, depending on the possibilities of the member. From what we receive in rent, we finance renovations, new construction, and all other expenses.
Baufortschritte finanziert oder alle anderen Ausgaben, die wir hier haben.
Und wir nutzen das ganz gut. Wir haben so verschiedene Gruppen gegründet, eine Baugruppe und eine Finanzgruppe.
We've formed different groups, a building group, a finance group, a garden group, and so on. And these groups speak with each other. They discuss questions and solve many problems by themselves. Other issues can be brought to the plenum, which meets weekly and seeks to decide matters by consensus. We usually succeed with that.
Und der Anspruch ist auf jeden Fall, dass wir im Konsens entscheiden. Wir kriegen das auch meistens gut hin.
Wir haben Gewerbe hier am Platz.
We have craft businesses here on the place. For example, we built an apiary 2 years ago, and one of our members is keeping 100 different types of bees. These bee folk fly around, benefiting the place, and the honey is sold here. There are people who make sparkling wine with elder blossoms. Little by little, we see an increase in the number and diversity of products that we can make here. Together, we opened a catering service here and extended the kitchen so that we can cook for up to 150 people. This summer, we'll start to provide school meals for the Waldorf School in Erfurt. Almost everyone who lives here wants to work here. There are still some who work outside, teachers, social workers, and others, but in general, everyone would rather spend more time here. It feels quite strange to spend a full business week outside of the place, then only participate in the community happenings during the weekends. So it's very likely in the future that the midwife will be doing her birth preparation courses here, and that Annette fulfills her wish to care for old people here, and that other people will also earn their living in the community by bringing their work here.
Ja, wir haben hier ein großes Interesse, uns selbst zu versorgen und schaffen das in ein paar Bereichen auch schon.
We have a great interest in self-sufficiency and are succeeding with that in a few areas. Behind me, you see an orchard meadow where last year we succeeded for the first time in providing enough apples for the whole year. We took the last apples out of our cold cellar to make room for the new harvest. That was a really beautiful moment. We make applesauce and apple juice from our apples, and we have a lot of stone fruits as well. Last year we started a vegetable garden, and now we can provide vegetables and salad for half a year. We founded a food co-op, and we buy 100% organically produced food, so that the nutrition here is 100% organic. We cook once each day for everyone who's here at lunchtime. We cook vegetarian and often even vegan. Yes, visitors always ask, what kind of community are you? And there's really only one answer. We don't have a common dogma. In the community, there are many different spiritualities, many different attitudes. There are non-spiritual people here as well as very spiritual people. It's exciting to accept people just as they are.
Das Spannende ist eigentlich, dass wir immer wieder darauf achten, die Menschen, die hier sind, so zu nehmen, wie sie sind, ohne sie anders machen zu wollen.
Seit Jahren haben wir hier ein Infocafé, das ist...
For a few years now, we've had an info cafe that's open every first and third Sunday of the month. So every 2 weeks we invite people from the outside, especially from the neighborhood. This got around without any advertisement, and on these weekends we normally have between 15 and 30 visitors. It's a good connection with the neighbors. All these people who visit speak about us afterward, what they saw and heard, and it helps to relieve the prejudice and rumors that often surround intentional communities.
Menschen sich zusammentun zu einer Gemeinschaft langsam wieder zum Erliegen bringt.
Personally, I am a human who looks very optimistically into the future, and so sometimes I am subject to some criticism. Some people say, he is unrealistically optimistic, it didn't work out again. But that doesn't disturb me, because I know that this optimism gives me power, and it doesn't need statistical verification. On the other hand, there is always the opposite. In every community, there is someone who embodies your opposite, and that helps you to see your reflection more perfectly. My opposite is very cautious, all the time worrying and seeing risks in everything. So there exists a perfect balance. Now and then, I give weekend seminars for people who want to live in community and who are just starting out. I recommend that people who watch this movie try living in community. Once, I heard a nice presentation by an American woman on the topic of living in community. She used Noah's Ark as a metaphor about the different learning possibilities. One thing she said was to make the leap, that at some point you have to jump into the ark. Otherwise, you will live your whole life just talking about it and holding on to the idea. And in the end, you will still not know how it might have been. That would be a pity. Here in this country, in Eastern Germany, there are so many beautiful places that are still affordable. But in any country, there are possibilities to buy a piece of land and put something on it, and try to live together with people. I do not know a more beautiful challenge in this time, except traveling to the stars to get to know other life forms. It is a very deep, persistent, and challenging experience. I see how children are fostered here, that they almost develop sibling relationships, although they have only a single father or mother. There is no such thing as an only child here, and it is easier for single parents not to feel isolated. Everyone is integrated in this kind of social surrounding. There is a strong connection between children and adults that doesn't depend on whether they are related by blood. This connection is based on friendship. I find that healthy. It feels natural. I don't know whether this is the will of God or from evolution over millions of years of living together, but I think that we as human beings are meant to live together and not be isolated from each other. Even with all of the difficulties and troubles that you might experience in community on account of your origin, your social conditioning, and the inner pain that we carry, it's worth it. In Siebenlinden, they use the analogy of sharp stones in a river that slowly get washed smooth by tumbling around with each other. This is a picture that I like a lot.
Das ist ein Bild, was mir sehr gut gefällt.
Hidden in the mountains of northern Italy lies Damanhur. The history of this extraordinary community began in 1975 with a small group of 12 people. 35 years later, their plan to create a completely new society is recognized the world over. The community is known now as the Federation of Damanhur and includes small satellite villages. In the year 2005, Damanhur was recognized by the United Nations as a model of sustainable society. In 2010, the population of the Federation of Damanhur reached 1,000, with those of similar interests living together in small communities of 20 to 30 people.
Quello che io amo di più in Damanhur sono le persone. Damanhur è una comunità che è nata.
What I like most about Damanhur is the people. Damanhur is a community that was created in order to build really meaningful relationships between humans. It's a network of solidarity that allows one to express the best of oneself, to unfold and live out one's own talents, and that provides richness for others as well.
A Damanhur si vive per riuscire a dare qualcosa.
People come to Damanhur to give something,
Più che per chiedere.
more to give than to ask for something. But in reality, in a natural way, you get more in return than you ask for. Above all, you get the brotherhood, which unites the people.
Che nasce attraverso lo spirito di fratellanza. Io vivo in Dendera, questa comunità si occupa di rapporti.
I live in Dengara. This community deals with the exchange with other communities in the world. We accommodate a lot of people from various eco-villages, and together we explore their virtues. Now, for instance, we have built a straw bale house. This was the first experiment in Damanhur of that kind. We have a lot of houses in Damanhur that are built ecologically, but this kind of experiment is a first.
Noi a Damanhur abbiamo moltissime case costruite con la bioedilizia, ma non avevamo ancora questa sperimentazione così particolare.
In one of these communities, called Prima Stella, the focus is on farming. Another is Magila, where sustainable energy systems and practices are explored. A third village consists only of houses built above the ground in trees, a tree village where biofeedback with plants is explored. Sensors measure the electrical resistance between roots and leaves. The electrical signals are sent to a synthesizer and transformed into music. Research in the acoustic interactions between humans and plants, a form of communication, is a focus of this village. Anaconda Papaya is a teacher in Damanhur.
One of the distinguishing traits of our school is the travel aspect, because we believe that by moving physically, you also move inwardly. And therefore, since the children are very small, already from when they are 1-2 years old, we travel with the children in different environments. Of course, as they grow older, they go more farther and farther. And this is very important because it has to do also with learning from experience rather than on books. It's experiential learning. So typically, every class of ours, we have several traveling projects every year based on the studies. So we go as far as the United States or Africa or different countries in Europe. And it's a very important part of our work.
Damanhur has its own constitution and its own currency as well, called the credito. Falco Alberto Airaudi is the founder of Damanhur. He speaks about the vision of Damanhur and about presenting a positive example for the world.
La visione di Damanhur rispetto al mondo di oggi è una visione che vuole essere ancora incantata.
The vision of Damanhur is a vision that wants to be infused with magic, although it is typical for these times to be completely disenchanted and without hope. But we want to hope. Today, many humans don't have dreams, and we want to take care that everybody has a dream. Existence without dreams doesn't make sense for us. If a person's focus is only on living, only on existing and nothing else, that's really a big defeat, a state without purpose. A stone could do that, but an individual, a human being, should have the ability to look into the future, to have dreams, hopes, and desires, and to bring them down to earth, make them real. This is our vision, and for us it is linked to the dreams of the world. In the ancient times they said, the world must be dreamed, because if it is not dreamed, it loses substance.
Damanhur come esempio. Damanhur vuole essere un esempio positivo perché agisce e deve dare.
Damanhur seeks to be a positive example. It is acting to give others the possibility of dreaming. We live in a difficult time. We, as well as others, are constantly challenged and treated in unfriendly ways, for example, by religious forces. I often feel that this is a great opportunity for building our strength. If we would have been ignored, we might have lost ourselves, because we might have rested on our success. When did humanity have a great success? When there has been pressure. Think about the big religious movements. They often originate from persecution. Think about how new social systems have come into existence. They often have their roots in revolution. We have the ability to change and to show others that it is possible to change. And although we are a small reality, we are able to accomplish things that even big nations have not accomplished. And if we can do it, then others can do it as well.
Sono nati anch'essi dalla rivoluzione, dal cambiamento, dalla trasformazione. Quindi, se lo facciamo noi, vuol dire che anche gli altri sono in grado di farlo.
Damanhur is internationally known for its temples of humankind. The temple complex is an underground work of art, built by the citizens of Damanhur and dedicated to universal spirituality, to the union between the human being and divine forces. Through varied artistic expressions, they tell the story of humanity from the beginning and into the future. Built completely by hand, the temple's rooms enclose thousands of cubic meters on different levels and are connected by miles of corridors. This location is one of the most important energy centers on our planet. Energy lines, called synchronic lines, are the energy rivers that link the Earth to the cosmos, transporting thought, dreams, and ideas. 4 of these synchronic lines meet in Damanhur. The temples of humankind symbolically represent the inner space of every human being and the profound journey of discovery to the inner self. This is the labyrinth, which is dedicated to the union and the harmony of all the divine forces of humanity, of all times and all peoples. Each window is dedicated to a god or a goddess. The history of humanity is depicted on the walls of the central naves, from a primordial time of unity with the earth and the cosmos, through dark ages of suffering and wars, to a possible future which is awakened and more balanced. The Hall of Water is dedicated to the goddess, the sacred feminine principle. The halls of the earth are linked to our planet and to the masculine principle. In the temples, everything can be read like a book. The images follow a precise code of form and proportion. Every color, every shape, every detail has significance. The Hall of Metals, linked to time, connects life and the beyond. The workshops of the artists who created the temples are located in Damanhur Krea, a center for innovation, health, and research, which is open daily for visitors and the public. Every year, Damanhur attracts thousands of curious and interested visitors. They come to see the temples, which invite meditation, and to participate in numerous courses and events. Valle de Sensaciones is located in southern Spain. 10 years ago, Achim Burkhardt bought the land in order to realize his dream of living a creative lifestyle in close contact with nature. He and his partner Rama live here, taking in guests who want to experience community and the connection to nature.
Das Motto des Valle de Sensaciones ist es, die Kreativität in sinnlichem Kontakt mit der Natur zu leben.
The slogan of the Valle de Sensaciones is to live creatively in sensual contact with nature. Right now, here in the bathtub, I'm having one of those magic moments. I'm completely connected with the water, with the fire, seeing the sky and the mountains. I'm relaxing with the feeling of being in the middle of nature.